morning. Yeah.
Makes me happy.
Good morning. Well, the heat bug finally caught up to us with the past cold winters, and this one finally dinged us. Since the last time we met, we burned up a supply fan at Melridge, which controls the heater for the original school. My maintenance department scrambled, along with the help from GEM HVAC. They found us a motor in Macedonia. We rushed out, put it all back together, and got the heat up by 3:55 that day. So that one was a fun day for us to handle. Then we had a hot water circulator line for heating at John R. These lines supply the hot circulated water from the boilers. They go to the univents. The univents disperse the heat to the classrooms. We had a line spring a leak. I have a portion here if you care to play with it. Basically what's happening to our heating lines is the pipe is going from like 3/16 inside the diameter thickness to nothing.
Is that the water?
This is the line that circulates the hot water for the boilers. So it's deteriorating. It is encased in heavy insulation, so when it does pop a leak, it takes a while before we see it because that insulation does have to get saturated. So it's just something we need to keep in the back of our mind moving forward with our facilities plans, that we are playing with some borrowed time, in my opinion, with some of these infrastructure items.
The whole length of run of pipe looks like that?
This is just a section we pulled out. This is a section that it finally weakened enough to where it burst and was spraying out.
It's all in insulation, so when you tell, you can't
You can't really tell.
tell till the end.
It's wrapped.
It's wrapped, and it's also hot.
Is it above ground or below?
It's in the crawl space. And then at the same time we fixed that, the media center seemed to be running full, and the heating coil in the media center decided to blow 3 holes out the side of it. We drained that out, made a phone call, got some assistance with some brazing materials. We put a vacuum on one side of the unit to pull the water out and pull the brazing into the coil. We got that back up and running within an hour and a half. So we did see some very large gremlins this year with the deep freeze. Don't know if that's just going to be a telltale sign of the future, or if it was just one of those weeks to where Lady Luck just decided not to shine on Riverside anymore. So I wanted to bring that to everybody's attention.
One thing I, first of all, want to say is we were lucky when the Melridge one went. It was a staff PD day, so there was no staff at Melridge. I guess there was a lot of smoke and other things during the day that happened there. And then we had actually thought that it wasn't going to be fixed, so we started the process of even canceling the day. So the maintenance people kept us in school, so they are beloved right now by both the Melridge staff and children for saving the day and not having another calamity.
Not by children, they wanted another
Yeah.
calamity day, I mean, let's be honest.
Not by staff either. But
I'm going to jump on the agenda here, which led me to just kind of highlight, and we can get more depth into this in future meetings, but it kind of dawned on me, we were walking out of the media center after we patched everything up, and we talk about how some of our additions are 1994, but in reality, that's 32 years ago. So the media center equipment, even though it's a newer building, it is 32 years ago. And then I got to thinking about...
Are those original units?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
So I got to thinking about all of our buildings, and just to kind of highlight a little bit of the air handlers, chillers, and boilers. The boilers in the high school are 2002. Relatively young in the world of boilers, however, what they're attached to, all of the steam traps, all of the steam lines, that's all original.
Those are the elementary boilers?
No, that's the high school
Oh,
boilers.
sorry.
So you're looking at 75 years of steam line piping, you're looking at 75 years of sanitary line piping, which we've had issues in the past, water lines. It's just, the age of everything just kind of highlighted with the media center blowing some holes in its coil. John R. boilers, the best I can come up with is they are circa they went into production in 1956. Their serial number and model number, I'm being told, is between 1956 and 1962. So we're looking at 60-year-old boilers going into, again, original pipes, as you can see, that have worn thin, original sanitary lines, original water lines. Media center and the chiller and the heating coil, everything I was just talking about, again, that's a 1993 unit for a 1994 building. Field house, that unit is from 2000. Again, that is now 26 years old, not very energy efficient. We do not have air conditioning in the field house. All of the original Riverview, it's HVAC, so that's the boilers, the air handlers, the chiller. Those units are 2018, 2019 items. The Riverview addition, of course, we all know, those items are now 2025 items. The Buckeye Boiler Room, it has two main boilers. That's for the original building. Those are 1968. The 1994 heating, the addition, that has heat and it does have a cooling system. That air handler sits next to the boiler. Those are 1993, 1994 pieces of equipment. So again, you're getting into the 30-year range and up. Melridge, the main heating system is a forced air system that we just repaired a couple weeks ago. That is circa 1956, 1957. The addition, again, from 1994, the boiler and the air handler for the cooling is 93, 94. Lamuth boilers are our newer ones. We placed those a couple years ago. Those are 2021. The air handler and cooling system for the 94 edition, those units are 1993 manufacturing. Again, though, keep in mind, everything that I'm telling you is going to the original piping. It's going to nothing as far as plumbing, sanitary, steam, hot water. It has not been ductwork, actuators. Everything is original. Occasionally, some of these will go bad. We'll replace them. But the majority of the interior structure of our heating and cooling is original.
Rich, at Lamuth, that air handler that was put in 94, that handles the cooling, but we've never put the chiller on.
No, that handles strictly the library and the office area.
Okay.
The boiler room does have a pipe system to where we could, with some tweaking and engineering, add a chiller outside of the boiler room to go to the piping system that currently supplies the hot water to all of the classrooms. And then Parkside, as we all know, that was opened in 2019. Those items are 2018, 2019. Relatively young. That's why we have service contracts. That's why we do a lot of upkeep on them internally as well. But we are aging, and it just kind of, it's one of those things where I look at it all the time and we talk about, oh, it's a 94 edition. And then it dawned on me, crap, we're looking at something that's 32 years old in a blink of an eye.
All those chillers that are at Lamuth, when we did those, that was like 500 grand if I am not mistaken. All that stuff, it's upstairs on the second floor. What is it?
That services the library and the offices.
And that was probably what,
And-
2015
And then you have
maybe?
a block of interior classrooms. I think it's 6 classrooms on the second floor.
On the second floor upstairs.
Yes, correct. I just wanted to highlight that. I mean, we are aging. And again, it was one of those things that just kind of struck me odd as I was thinking about it. On to the next item. Several years ago, a Senate Bill 112 was passed. It is the Childhood Safety Act. Basically what that is it was legislation that was brought to the state of Ohio that all doors, fire doors and exterior exit doors need to be compliant with this bill and need to be operable in a safe and efficient manner. They are starting to enforce it. The funny thing is they passed this legislation. They did not have anybody to do inspections. We are now getting a list of companies and individuals who will be doing the inspections.
When was this?
I believe this was passed in '24, I think. I have it here if you want to read it.
No, it's, I'm
great
just
reading.
asking, it's not, 10 years old and they're
No.
finally getting around to it.
No, they're just getting around to it. Basically, what I'm hearing is that it's going to be anywhere, it could be anywhere from $25 to $125 per door. And if you just think of the high school, of how many exterior doors we have, that's a lot. I do have 2 maintenance individuals that are going to a 2-hour class, kind of like highlighting the overview of what the expectations are, what to look for. And so they're going to go to that class and bring back that information to me. I am currently working with the list from the OSC that I got at one of my meetings to start interacting with some of these contractor vendors to come out and give us our yearly inspections. This way, if the fire chief, which to this point they have not in Painful Township and Concord, asked for any of this, but it is slowly ramping up to where the ask will be there.
So what is required of the inspections? What do they need, a certificate? Do they need to register? Could we send somebody internal? Would that not be allowed?
They have to be certified through, my understanding is through the state, and there is a long list. And they'll come in and look at the doors, they'll check the year of the doors, they'll check the hinges, they'll check all the mechanical devices to open and lock it, and the door closes, basically to make sure the door is opening and closing as it should.
Could we have, I guess what I'm asking is, could we have somebody internal go through the training so
That
we
we are
know
looking,
ourselves?
everybody, all the schools are looking into that and see if there is an internal training that we could get to have somebody on staff, yes. There is nothing out there specific yet.
Like, or do they say that's not allowed, you can't inspect your own stuff? I don't know.
That's part of the conversation as well, but that is.
That's okay, Painesville City could get somebody, and we could get somebody, and then we could just do each other's
Right.
schools. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, but there are conversations going on, but this is something that was passed. It was a topic in one of our OSC meetings, and we're moving forward internally to make sure that we stay compliant, don't get on the radar of the bad people.
The dollar range that you gave, you're talking replacement of hardware mainly?
We would replace, no, that's just to inspect it. They would come through and tell us if there's any deficiencies in our doors, and then we would replace it internally.
And that's the charge per door?
Correct.
I'm in the wrong business,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
That's a lot.
I was approached by a gentleman.
Is that every year?
Yes.
Oh.
$125 every year for a door?
Yes. Anywhere from 25 to 125, depending on who you go with.
So once you're inspected, it doesn't guarantee you inspection
No.
for the next X amount of years?
No, it does not.
Okay.
No, it's a yearly thing.
Sorry, door
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Sounds like there's.
Luckily, it's not Windows.
So I want to let everybody know we're working on that. We're moving forward on it. If any more information comes forward, I will bring it to one of our meetings. I was approached by a gentleman. He has children in the district, I believe at Melridge, Jake Kemp with Ram Construction. They do thermal image scannings from an airplane. They can do steam lines, they can do roofs, and they can do parking lots. I did ask him to put together a proposal. I did give that to you. Basically what they do is they fly over during the day. They take a color image of your complex and your roofs. They come back at night. They take a thermal imaging scan, and what that scan on your roof will show you is what kind of moisture you have lying underneath the roof. My understanding, it is a very good camera. It is a very good process. And the same thing goes for the parking lots. They will come out at night. They will scan from the air on an airplane with these imaging cameras and scan your parking lots to show you all of your deficiencies that may be underlying that you can't see with the naked eye. And if you have any pockets of water or anything sitting there. I got the proposal. I passed it along for everybody to review, give your thoughts, input. Would it be helpful? Sure.
Which one is that?
It's this one.
The $404,000.
Page 5, just
line.
the,
No, it's 14,000.
No, that's square feet.
That's square feet. I would not come to this table with a 404,000. No.
So on page 5, I see each school. And
Oh, my God.
Is it your opinion to do Parkside and Riverview as well?
Oh, here it is.
I would. It doesn't hurt. I mean, we are getting into the 7-8-year-old range. It wouldn't hurt. Or you've had some repairs for leaks done. It would be beneficial if we could catch it ahead of time. We don't necessarily need to, but it would be beneficial.
Does it make sense to put the field house on this too?
No, field house is just
Yep.
steel, and there's nothing there. It's steel. I wouldn't care about that.
Buckeye's getting a new roof as part of,
Yeah, I would say Buckeye and Melridge coming off makes sense. mean,
I don't know what we're gonna do with Melrose
That's true
yet,
too, though,
so-
having, if you do them all, there's a, what, a $3,000 discount to
Yes.
do them all? I think having the scan of Buckeye might make sense as to the material and the type of roof that we put on it, whether we lay over it or have to do a complete tear off.
So we lose the 3,000 even if we remove one building? It's like throwing in a school for free.
I mean, Melridge is
$3,500.
3,500, so.
Buckeye would be beneficial, though it helps us moving forward with the construction and the renovation as to what we're going to do with that roof. The more data we could have, the better off it's going to be for us moving forward.
Is it better to do this now or wait until we have some guess on what we want to do with our facilities plan? You know,
I-
like if we're gonna move forward with replacing a building, for example, the facilities plan comes out and says, hey, let's build a high school, whatever, like,
I would think it would be helpful information when we start moving forward with the facilities plan, to be like, here's the data we have now. We know it's good information. It helps us make decisions in moving forward and what we have to tackle first and foremost.
And this might narrow down our order of importance.
Well,
if we
we've
decide
got
to keep a
the,
building.
we do. I would say, you know, the buildings that we're looking at are both John R. and the high school, and obviously they are very aged and would need a lot of work. I think specifically with the high school, you do have the historical significance. We just celebrated 75 years. It is beloved by the community and some very, so to look at both of those, but to have that information that, you know, we could replace the roof with a membrane or whatever, because it's not saturated, is a significant cost savings in a remodel versus we have to do a complete tear off. And I think that's where the product comes from, where when you compare apples to apples and say, and come with real numbers and real drawings and not just hypotheticals, but this is what a real building would cost, this is what a brand new building would cost in times, and this is what a completely remodeled, revision building that keeps the original fascia of the high school, similar to Cleveland Heights, Lakewood, some of those that are doing that, this is what that would cost, and it includes now, we have to do a complete tear off versus we can do a layover and get.
Is this PI expensible? Because it doesn't look to be.
Say that again.
This doesn't appear to be PI expensible.
Well, you could use PI for that if you wanted to. Use PI to scan a roof,
How's it?
because it's part of the permanent improvement process. So, I mean, I would check it out for sure before I would definitively say yes, but I think it's a PI expenditure.
This would be similar to a feasibility study on a building?
Yes.
But it's not
integration
extending the
together.
life of any of our buildings. It's looking at it, but it's not, that's why I'm asking. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
But
I'm
it's,
just-
but it's a part of the I would argue it's part of a necessary step to determine.
And do we have
the
the money?
law.
Right? If it's not, we're deficit spending in general fund already. If it is PI allowable, we don't have a whole ton of wiggle room in that fund either.
Not a lot now. But when we're done, which we're not yet, you know, obviously there'll be some things on this board agenda, but it's gonna be somewhere, at least half of the PI funds will be already spent before we ever receive them.
Can I make a request that we have the PI budget and where we stand currently, like with the ins and outs, you know, like that we had
Yeah.
previously? Can we have that at every
It's good.
buildings and grounds meeting? Because it's really
Yeah.
hard to figure out where we're at and see
We'll have
what our
a-
priorities are, where we're moving forward.
Sure.
If we're gonna keep spending.
And if this is something we don't move forward with now, we want to get more in depth into the planning process, the option is out there. The technology is out there, it's only going to get better.
Right.
But it's going to be, either way, when we do it now or later, I believe it's going to be helpful information for us to look at our situations and our
Right.
roofs.
But we don't have to do it right this minute.
Well, I would say, maybe not the whole district, but you're gonna need to do Buckeye, some type of assessment on Buckeye very, very soon. Because you're gonna need to know, is that a tear off? Is that a repair? Is that a
And they're
partial
probably-
job, I
They're
don't
probably not
know.
gonna go and do just Buckeye when we say, oh, we'll do them all, but we're just
We
not
could
gonna do
ask.
them all
I
now.
could-
I
I
would
could
bet.
simply ask.
How long
Yeah.
is this quote good for?
30 days.
From,
I think so.
from the time you received it?
Yes.
Right, my guess is they're gonna take that plane up once, not,
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, they would do the district in one fly.
so saying, well, we'd kinda like to get Buckeye done and out of the way, but the rest of them, we kinda wanna wait.
You
I
you
could
can
read-
do an infrared scan without a plane, there's companies that do it without planes.
Yeah,
Correct.
well, I'm just asking, cause
Well, we did.
without having the PI budget and where we are and what's left in there and what that's gonna look like, that's just making me really nervous to.
No, I think there's a lot
see
to,
that.
I think the other part that's coming too is they're not rebates, but the monies we're getting back that we did not spend on the Riverview and CCD. So I think that's a portion that we are still waiting for a total figure from that.
Can they do this at any point of the year? Does it have to be
It's
after
typically,
winter?
yes, after winter. I would say spring to fall.
And we still, I know this is going down a little bit of a different path, but we were gonna transfer 67,000 back from the PI to the general, but that has to go on a board agenda,
Yes,
because that's a transfer.
that's a transfer.
So we should probably do that, because I haven't seen it on there, just to make sure that we do it,
Okay.
because then that's gotta come out as well. And again, not seeing the PI budget, I would like to see it kind of every.
We did a
It's helpful.
boots on the roof scan a couple years ago on a roof about the size of this room. Mike could probably tell me, but it was several thousands of dollars just to do that, this size.
This size.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw the pricing, it was, I was.
I wanna say that was the choir room, correct?
That is correct.
That was about $4,000.
I was gonna say, I thought it was between 4 and 5, just.
So to do the
Okay.
flyover is
Maybe
actually,
planes sound better.
I was surprised too at how expensive it was.
Well, it's probably a lot faster also. If I-
And they're claiming, Ram is claiming, this, Jake Kemp is claiming that this camera is more intricate and stronger than something that you could handhold and look at a roof.
Has anybody else used this?
They have, I'm waiting for him to send me some information on, I can forward that to you if you wanted to see that.
No, I'm just curious if you looked at any of
Okay,
that
I can do
information.
that. Okay, on to, I apologize to everybody now, if your eyes cross, your ears bleed, I apologize for this next one. Belinda, you had asked for some information about our custodial staff, and I worked to try to give you information, hopefully it's in-depth enough. But in a meeting with the OSC for the physical plant directors that I attend, we had a seminar actually about cleaning standards within schools. The ISAA is basically the driving force for cleanliness of K through 12. That stands for International Sanitary Supply Association. There also was an association formerly known as the Association of Physical Plant Administrators. They both have 5 levels of cleanliness. Both of them, if you would like, I have a copy of the association one. They're all very similar as far as cleanliness goes. And if you look on the one printout I gave you, there's 5 levels, and level 5 is not considered healthy. We're not even going to discuss that. That's basically filth. Level 4 is not generally accepted for a school environment, and what these do is they give you the amount of square footage in their national estimation that a custodian could handle in an 8-hour period. A level 3 cleaning is something that we strive for here in our district, is cleaning required to ensure health and comfort of building users. One custodian properly supplied and equipped should be able to clean 19,000 to 25,000 square feet in an 8-hour period. Some of it is dependent upon the condition and the utilization of the facility. A level 2, which is a little bit higher than a 3, it's more of an intense cleaning reserved for areas such as restrooms, special education areas, kindergarten, or food services. They're saying that one custodian properly supplied and equipped can clean anywhere between 11,000 square feet to 18,000 square feet in an 8-hour period. And then you have a level 1, which is more or less a hospital, but I'll tell you what, I've seen hospitals and I wouldn't say they're level 1 either. We don't even try to attempt to strive that, but in some cases I would say we probably touch that. So honestly, as the director of maintenance, I confidently say that our staff stays between a 2 and 3 on a regular basis. And again, the square footage and how much you can clean, a lot of it, there's a lot that goes into this, and it's not just our district. It's, do you have PTO? Do you have soccer? Do you have Girl Scouts? Do you have athletics? You know, how messy was the art classroom? How messy was the cafeteria? How messy were the bathrooms? A lot of that goes into play as to how much you can actually handle. And I can tell you that I don't know if it's the moon phase or just the year, but I have seen all of our school usages ramp up a lot. I mean, our buildings are being used day in and day out and nightly. And again, that is not a factor that says we can't clean. It just, when you have things in your way, sometimes it slows you down a little bit, or you have to go back and you can't get as in depth as you'd like. But again, I will say confidently that my staff does a hell of a job making sure that these schools are clean and satisfactory for staff and students. And I'm not going to be silly and think that we're perfect, because we're not. But so what I'd like to do is I just kind of put together all of our schools, collected some data. Hopefully it's helpful. But our Riverside School District custodial team comprises of 31 contracted full-time custodians. Our years of service range from, we have a custodian that's been here 43 years. We have several custodians that are within a year. I would say our average years of service is probably right around the 10-year mark, give or take a couple years. So we'll get into it. I don't want to take up everybody's time. Riverside campus, so this data that I put together is covering the board office, the high school, media center, and John R. Williams. So you're looking at approximately 275,000 square feet of space between that area. So we have a total of 89 classrooms, 37 bathrooms, 92 toilets, 51 sinks, 41 offices, 2 gymnasiums, 4 locker rooms, an auditorium, 2 kitchens, 2 cafeterias, the media center, library, and 12 stairwells. And we just, as everybody knows, we just added an additional 5,400 square feet with 3 classrooms to campus with the addition of the CT, ES, whatever it is. So during the day, we have 2 full-time custodians. They work 5:30 to 2 p.m. They handle the day-to-day calls, they handle the lunches, they handle the bathrooms, whatever else comes up during the day. One custodian handles the high school, the other custodian handles John R. The 2 of them collaborate on the media center if there's any spills in the hallways or any needs in the classroom or the library. At night, we have 6 custodians. We have 1 custodian who comes in at 2 o'clock and works till 10:30. The reason that person comes in at 2 is because with our day staff going home at 2, we have that hour overlay of where we have nobody in the building, so that person covers any calls from the time of dismissal till 3 o'clock. And then the other 5 custodians will work from 3 p.m. to 11:30. So when I broke it down to the ISAA cleaning standards, and I went level 2 and level 3, and what I did was I broke it down from 19,000 square foot for 8 hours, 25,000 square foot for 8 hours, and then I just added the 2 divided by 2 and came up with what I call a split difference. So according to the ISAA standards, if a custodian was to clean 19,000 square feet in 8 hours, that means for the 275,000 square feet we have here on campus, you would need 14.47 custodians. If you gave them 25,000 square foot to clean, you would need 11. If I split the difference, this is at a level 3, you need 12.7 custodians. If you go to a level 2, which means it's 11,000 square foot to 18,000 square foot in an 8-hour shift. If you take the 11,000 divided by 275, you need 25 custodians, 18,000 square feet in 8 hours, you would need 15.27. If I split the difference, you need 18.96. What we do with 6 full-time custodians at night and with several subs, they're rock stars. I mean, they're flat-out rock stars. We go less. I mean, it's very simple. We don't look as good as we do. We do have aging buildings here, and I think for what they do and the time period that they do it in with the people we have, they knock it out of the park. And everybody in all of the schools does it. I mean, if you go into Parkside and Riverview, they pretty much look like the day they opened. They do a hell of a job, and these people come in at 2:30, 3 o'clock. Yes, it's their job, but there's minimal supervisory on my part. I mean, I see them once or twice a month, maybe 3 times a month. My assistant goes out and sees them, but they show up, they do the job, and when they unlock the doors in the morning for those teachers and students and parents and community, we don't miss a beat. We just don't miss a beat. And when they clean, you know, a bathroom the toilet gets cleaned inside and out and disinfected. The handles get disinfected. The sinks get cleaned. The mirrors get wiped down. The stall walls get wiped down at least once a week. All paper products and soap products are filled up and ready to go. And the floors are mopped. When they walk into a classroom, they wipe off a desktop. They wipe off a seat top. They wipe off a tabletop. They will not move papers off of a teacher's desk or students' projects, but they clean what they can clean. They sweep out the classrooms. Sometimes all the classrooms get mopped, sometimes the classrooms only get spot mopped. It depends on what's going on for the day and how the condition of the classroom is. But every classroom that we walk into and every bathroom and every office we walk into, we clean it, we mop it, we sweep it, we vacuum it, and we disinfect it. That is the levels 2 and 3 that we are trying to obtain on a daily and weekly, monthly, and yearly basis. And I really think, I'm going to say it again, they knock it out of the park. The field house, it's 22,000 square feet. We have one night custodian there, and this guy is a rock star, because if you would ever go to the field house from 3 o'clock till midnight, there's basketball, there's baseball, there's softball, there's track, there's football, there's volleyball, there's community usage. He is there to clean. And there are some nights where we send over some of our subs, if they are working that night, to assist him with cleanup. After football games on Friday nights, he works a little bit of overtime, because just trying to get everything ready for the next day to a standard that is acceptable, he just knocks out. And that's one person. And not only does he do the 22,000 square feet of the field house, he also goes over on a nightly basis and cleans the bus garage. It's 3 offices, 2 bathrooms, and a lunchroom. Not much, but that's something that takes him an hour to an hour and a half to clean. So, I mean, and you know, and you'll see that we have 11 toilets, 3 urinals, 6 sinks, 2 stairwells in the field house. And the numbers come out that you probably need just one person, which I think we're good there. Sometimes it gets a little inundated. I mean, if you go to a level 2, it ramps up a little bit. But we're pretty good with capacity, with some of the subs helping him out. He does a great job. Riverview, we, as we know, we added 11,077 square foot. So we have a 77,267 square foot elementary school. We have 44 classrooms. We have 25 bathrooms. We have 42 toilets, 9 urinals, 25 sinks, 5 stairwells, 15 offices, gym, cafeteria, and kitchen. At a level 3, with 19,000 square foot per facility, you're at 4.06. At 25,000, you're at 3.09. If you split,
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Where do we get 25 bathrooms? Like, what are you counting as a bathroom?
it's a bathroom.
25 bathrooms.
It's a bathroom. If there's a door that has a toilet behind it, that's a bathroom.
Okay.
But a door with 6 toilets would be 1 bathroom? in
That's
this?
correct. Yes. Yes.
You enlightened me,
Like
Rich. I
25
would have never
bathrooms.
known how to define a bathroom.
Like
A
25
door,
bathrooms.
toilet.
I'm trying to think, where are there 25 really?
There's staff
There's 6
bathrooms,
stalls.
there's,
That's what I mean, a
No,
stall
stall
is
is
a
not
stall
a-
is not a
No.
bathroom.
Stalls, you just said if it had a door and a toilet,
no.
a
You mean-
stall's not, that's a door
Well,
and a
for
toilet.
example, you
Or a
have,
hallway door.
for example, you have a bathroom in the kitchen, Riverview, I'm just talking Riverview.
Yeah.
You have a bathroom in the kitchen. You have 2 staff bathrooms on the first hallway. You have 2 bathrooms in the offices. You have 2 bathrooms for boys and girls. Then you go down the hallway to the pod, you have another 2 bathrooms. You go upstairs,
Oh, so it's not a toilet count?
No.
It's a-
No, I don't
it's
think
It's
you
a
realize how
bathroom,
many are
right,
in
like
there.
I'm trying to,
Right.
Like, there's a lot of bathrooms.
Yes.
in
When you
that
say
building.
door, you don't mean a stall door, you mean
No.
the
the
hallway
whole
door.
bathroom.
Correct.
Close.
Well,
Right,
and
so-
in Riverview, in some of those, they don't have doors.
and we
It's
also have
actually-
Jack and Jill's too.
Yeah.
So there's
All
four-
those kindergarten rooms have bathrooms. So there's,
It's a lot of bathrooms. Seriously, like,
there's 8
When I was
bathrooms in
doing this,
I'm
I'm
classrooms.
in there going, what? Like, really, we have have
Yes.
like 5 bathrooms in
Yes.
this building.
Yeah.
He's lying. No, like.
No.
They sneak up on you.
And then, you know, we have 1-day custodian, and we have 3 night custodians, and the night custodians work 2 to 10:30 p.m. And they're handling all of that. And again, we have usage, we have clubs, we have athletic activities.
Rich, right now.
Okay, so that's really interesting. The high school, look how much bigger it is. It only has 37 bathrooms,
Right.
but Riverview
Yes.
has 25. Okay, I'm just like,
Yes.
this is really interesting.
Right now we don't have preschool there, and we do have the 4 classrooms up above, the 4 new classrooms on the second floor being used, but the 4 preschool classrooms have not been utilized, so we haven't added staff. When we add preschool, bring preschool back, yes, it comes with all these cute little preschoolers, but that's a lot of mess.
It's also a lot of flushing, because, you know, they just go into the bathroom just because they go.
And
to
they
the
have
bathroom.
bathrooms in their rooms.
Yes, they do.
Do we need to look at potentially changing your staff arrangement, or maybe even adding some type of staffing for you moving forward because of the preschool effect, I think, for lack of a better term?
I would say at minimum, it would be 1 more night person. I would say let's get preschool in the building. And I know
See how it works.
it's going to be a lot for the day person. I do know that because of the calls, because you're trying to do breakfast and lunch. And then if you get called for a spill or a vomit or something, you can't handle both areas. But I think that's one of those things where we watch and see how it plays out.
Okay.
But definitely, I would think, budget allowing, we would have a 4th person in there at night.
We had talked about that initially when we put that addition on, is that we could perhaps lead to.
Buckeye, 34,700 square feet, 18 classrooms, 7 bathrooms, 15 toilets, 7 urinals, 13 sinks, 5 offices, gym, cafeteria, however you want to word that, and a kitchen. We're pretty much where the standard would
7
say.
versus 25.
With level 3, you're looking between 1.82 custodians to 1.38. If you split the difference, 1.6. If you go to a level 2, you're ramped up to almost 2 to 3 staff members. So we do a heck of a job, and before I started here, we only had 1 person there at Buckeye, which could get the school done. It wasn't that great, but it was done. One of my reasons for Buckeye and Melridge going from 1 to 2 was just not only cleanliness, but also safety. Those schools are off the beaten path a little bit. They are tucked in the neighborhoods. 1 person, if they fall and get hurt, we're not going to find them until they're blue and dead in the next morning. Don't want to do that. I don't want the paperwork. But we are going to add on to Buckeye, and again, there when Buckeye is done, we'll have to reevaluate to what our staff.
We're pretty
is.
much, how much square footage are we adding? Plus more bathrooms.
We're adding more bathrooms.
Like what, 6 more bathrooms?
6 more
At
bathrooms,
least.
and, I mean, we're basically, it's
Like, we're almost doubling the
doubling
size.
the size.
Yeah.
Let's just go with that.
It's that much, huh?
So,
It's-
so right, we add,
Yeah, the gym. is
what
gonna
I
add.
don't,
that gym's
I
gonna
don't
be
know,
good.
like, what, if that's considered, when we do our 5-year forecast, we're gonna need to think about 4-year forecast, whatever it is now.
But if you do
We're gonna
that,
need to think about it, because we're
but the
gonna
other
have to
plan
add staff.
is to take another building offline or repurpose another building, so.
But we still have to clean it.
Well-
Maybe not as much, but we're still gonna have to maintain it.
We'd have
Well,
to, the
my
maintenance
assumption
there-
is if you double the size of Buckeye, you're closing Melridge. That would be my assumption.
And
Because
But
we
again,
have
you're
declining
still-
student population.
You're still gonna have to clean it at some point. You're
Yeah,
still
but you
gonna
have
to
people
maintain it.
cleaning Melridge, I'm assuming they're gonna be.
It would be a
reassigned.
different, yeah, it wouldn't be I can't foresee it being a person, just assigned just to Melbridge.
No, I
I
think-
understand, but like, you might have to take somebody from one
Well,
place and
we also-
rotationally
As we get further into this, we do have day floats that
could do that.
they,
Yes.
if there's not to cover, they could go over and do a day there. I mean, it may be a couple times a week. Maintenance, of course, will be in there as well, making sure heating and everything is on and we're not.
And will it be one-to-one, like when we add the space, will it just, will
What would
those
be the
staff just
rationale?
transfer? Will we have to actually add? Will we be able to save anything? I don't know
I
that
am-
people think about those.
I
kinds
would
of things.
project savings through attrition as well as transferring staff over.
Yeah, that's a lot of space.
Melridge, 32,245 in square footage, 22 classrooms, 8 bathrooms, 22 toilets, 9 urinals, 12 sinks, 4 offices, 2 modular units, gym, cafeteria, kitchen, 2 stairwells. We have 2 night staff custodians there. Again, we used to have 1. The numbers are saying you should have anywhere from 1 to 2 staff, so I think we're pretty good with those numbers. Again, it's a cleanliness issue, it's elevated, and it's also a safety issue for the person having somebody next to them.
And we're keeping, those modular units are still there.
Yes, sir.
What do we use them for now?
Currently, right now,
Storage.
storage. The board did pass a resolution to remove it this summer.
On to Lamuth, 86,855 in the square footage, 43 classrooms, 20 bathrooms, 30 toilets, 17 urinals, 32 sinks, 10 offices, 2 stairwells, the library, 2 locker rooms that have bathrooms in them. We have the gym, we have the cafeteria, we also have the kitchen. On a level 3 cleaning, it states that we should, their numbers dictate at 19,000 square foot, you would be at 4.57 people. At 25,000 square foot, you'd be at 3.47. If you split the difference of 21,500 square feet per custodian per 8 hours at 86,855, you're at 4.03. The level 2, of course, is going to go up at 11,000 square feet, you're at 7.89. 18,000 square feet, you're at 4.82. If you split the difference, you're at 5.99. So what we have at Lamuth is we have a day custodian, and he works 6 to 2:30. We also have a mid-shift, midday custodian, and he works 9:30 to 6. He's there with the amount of students and with the lunches and the breakfast. One custodian is handling breakfast. The other one is in lunch. The other one is either assisting or taking on calls for spills, vomits, bathroom issues. And that person in the midday is also there to cover the lapse of time when the 3 night custodians come in at 3:30. So he handles that 2 o'clock to 3:30 if there's any emergency calls or needs from the staff or the teachers, that custodian handles it. And then we have 3 night custodians who work 3:30 to midnight.
So the night custodians are basically doing the cleaning. The day custodians are,
Maintaining, yes, handling calls,
because they
maintaining.
can't clean.
We will shut down bathrooms if they need to be cleaned. If there's an issue, if we have a leak or a urinal comes off the wall, we'll call maintenance.
But I assume that they're cleaning the cafeteria in a sense,
Yes.
like the night crew doesn't have to touch that again.
No, we clean it again.
We clean it again?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they do a quick sweep of the tabletops. They do the trash, but then the night staff will come in and they'll sanitize again, and they'll also move the tables and chairs, sweep, and do the floors. And again, if you walk through the schools, and the schools are let out, you'll see cheerleading squads, you'll see our ski group waiting to leave. So the cafeteria isn't ready. It's just not right off the rip, is it ready to go?
And do the kitchen staff clean the kitchen
They
equipment?
do their equipment, we go in and sweep and mop the floors.
So we're not, like, the custodians are not cleaning the kitchen equipment, that's the kitchen
No,
staff
they're
themselves?
taking the time to clean the floors. They do, like for Buckeye, they do have a toilet in the kitchen. It's behind, of course, a door. And they'll go in and they'll clean that, stock it, and sanitize it as well.
The Parkside cafeteria I was in last time when we had a board meeting there, it looked brand new, like it had just opened. It was
Thank you.
spotless.
Parkside, 66,190 square feet, 36 classrooms, 20 bathrooms, 38 toilets, 9 urinals, 21 sinks, 10 offices, 3 stairwells, gym, cafeteria, kitchen. Again, the numbers for level 3, you're at 3.48 for 19,000 square feet, 2.64 at 25,000 square feet. You split the difference, you're at 3.07. Level 2, of course, it ramps up to more people. And again, at Parkside, we have a day custodian. Custodian comes in at 6 a.m., goes home at 2:30. Then we have 3 night custodians, I'm sorry. And again, they come in at 2 o'clock and work till 10:30. And it's just like all the other schools. You'll have pizza bingo, you'll have Girl Scouts, athletic groups in the building. So you work around it and you do what you can to get it cleaned. Additionally, we have contracted custodial float. So basically, They are not tied to a school. They are there to cover daytime shortages when people call off sick, go on vacation, whatever the case may be. So we have one contracted custodial float, and that person works Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 2:30. That person, if is not sent to a school to cover a shortage, will spend the day inside the field house, cleaning that up and doing additional cleaning, or coming over to the high school or John R. and help with any additional needs that we may have with lunches or other issues going on in the school. So that person is there to assist. I will say that both of our floats that work during the day, they also are responsible for cleaning the office house next door on a daily basis. Before they'll come in at 6, they'll go to the house, they'll clean that, and then they'll go about their day if they're not going to another school. And then we have one of our custodial floats works Tuesday through Saturday. So that shift is 6 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. But the Saturday shift, which is 6 a.m. to 2:30, is always here at campus. That person is responsible for making sure the media center doors open at 6 a.m. for Saturday Academy. That person is responsible for additional cleanings, such as locker rooms, gyms, auditorium. If we have activities the night before, that person will go out and start to work on those items as well. Opens up the field house if need be, maintains the field house if we have early morning activities. When we do have football, that person will go out and help clean up the stadium after Friday night. That's more of a detailed clean than what we do on Friday night. And again, that person will also be responsible for going to coverages Tuesday through Friday during the day at any of the schools that we may have call-offs at.
Is that the only staff person we have on Saturday?
In the morning, yes, and then we have we have 2 individuals that work Tuesday through Saturday, 1 to 9:30, and they are here, again, for any athletic activities, any school activities, educational activities that go on. And then they're also here that late because we do have a lot of activities such as drama or the play or meetings or musicals that take place. So they're here to make sure that things are being kept clean during the event, and then they clean up after the event, and then they lock up, they make sure everything is locked up, and then they lock up the building, they arm it, and they go home. Of course, we do have activities sometimes that run later than their shift. They are expected to stay and get overtime. If they cannot stay, we will post for overtime because we do have some events that if they go to 11 or 12 o'clock at night, 1 or 2 people just can't handle it. We'll run overtime if anybody wants to come in. Sometimes it's 1 or 2 people that'll come in and do that. And then we have a contracted custodial float, which is a night person. This person helps. This person is also Tuesday through Saturday. They work 2:30 to 11 at night, Tuesday through Friday, and that person works 1 to 9:30 at night, strictly here at campus, so we have coverage. Again, the activities have ramped up, that's great. We are now seeing a lot of requests for Sundays, and we run overtime for Sundays because we don't have anybody here on a regular basis working for
What
Sundays.
do we do on Sundays? I mean, other,
Football, soccer, a lot of it is athletic.
Is that community, not school?
Some of it's community, some of it's us. Some of
Musical
it's-
would be on Sunday.
So we allow practices on
They
Sundays?
will have practices, sometimes dramas in her
Like
building.
athletics?
Athletics can practice on Sundays?
When we have Pee Wee football,
Yeah, I'm talking.
Yeah, no, I don't know if OHSAA, I think Sunday.
It's not an OHSAA, it's just a lot of schools don't allow athletics on Sunday. Not community athletics, but the school athletics,
Our-
like a basketball practice on Sunday.
so do we charge them for the
Shouldn't allow
custodial?
that.
we do. I am currently working with my assistant to
Family.
bring something to this table for the group to look over and to work with Steve on. We are the cheapest around.
We do need to look at our rates that we're
Yeah.
charging. We aren't charging,
High school fund.
we aren't charging nearly enough to recover the cost of custodial coverage and all that. It was typically a budget neutral proposition will open the union to cover our costs, and we aren't to that point, we haven't adjusted the rates in a while. So we need to look at what the rates are.
And nobody has an issue with paying it?
For the most part, no. Sometimes they'll be like, well, we're so-and-so, and then, that gets elevated to, hey, what do you want us to do? But no.
And they go into the agreement understanding they have to pay, right? If they ask to reserve
Yes.
a space, it's part of the agreement.
Yes.
This one contract at night custodial float, I see that it's mainly at campus, but say an elementary school has bingo night, something like that. Does this person shift to a school
Yes.
like that?
We currently have a vacancy at Melridge. Actually, we have an individual out on medical, had surgery at Buckeye, and that custodian was covering Buckeye. But then we had an opening at Melridge due to a resignation, and I needed that person over there. So that person's basically camped out at Melridge, with the understanding that if the custodian that's by herself at Buckeye needs assistance, she can bounce back and forth because they're so close in proximity. But yes, if there's additional needs, that person will go there. We do have some subs when they are available. It's sporadic, but if they work, most of the time it's here at campus. They work 3 to 11:30, but again, if we need them to go to other schools, we will send them. I will say that the contracted staff that we have, they have it down to a science to where if they're short one person, they can still get the areas cleaned and sanitized and ready for the next day without missing a beat. If it becomes a prolonged period because of illness or vacation, or if it's multiple people are out, that's where the subs will be beneficial, again, if they're available to come in. A lot of times you see in this, I reference that they're at campus, it's just because campus is such a beast. I mean, it never sleeps, and I have said since day one, this place is a beast, and for the amount of activity and the age of the building, we really do look good. And that's also a compliment to the staff. I mean, the administration staff, to the teachers, everybody does their part to help out and chip in. I mean, it's not just custodial standalone or maintenance, it's everybody in this district is doing their part to, help out. We have a courier, you may have seen him. He drives the big giant Frankenstein truck that we're hoping to get rid of. Basically, he's in charge of bank deposits, deliveries of mail to the schools, delivers materials. He'll transport any nutritional items that need to go from school to school. That's basically his job, and there's other things. He assists me with getting keys with our key system. He assists with getting furniture back and forth to schools for plays or activities, and then he plays a role during the summer when we move preschool to its new home, and whatever other supplies or items that custodial may need. It could be paper products, soap products. Sometimes it's printing paper. That's his job to travel around and do that.
Do we have centralized purchases? And then we get it all here and then to
For
the other-
paper,
Paper for the most part, although a couple of the
Is
buildings.
here?
A couple of the buildings, the two Parkside Riverview and Lamuth can have stuff shipped directly to them so that they don't have to meet.
And what about cleaning products?
We get them shipped to the school.
But they're all purchased here.
Yes. Some of the stuff, depending on the size of the order, we may get it shipped just here, and then it gets broken down, it gets put on the truck, and it goes to the school. Some areas, we just don't have the storage, so we just can't ship 15 cases of something. We'll hold it here on our shelving, and then we'll disperse it as needed. And just lastly, because I'm horrible in math, but I play with numbers, I don't understand it. So all in all in the district, I'll leave you with this. We have 252 classrooms throughout the district. If each classroom averaged 24 chairs, that's 6,048 chairs that get moved and cleaned each night. That means there's well over 10,000 pieces of furniture from tables, chairs, and desks that get cleaned throughout the district each night, on top of all the bathrooms, offices, and ancillary rooms that are used as well. So again, I'll say it again, beat a dead horse, they're rock stars. for the amount of cleanliness that we have and what we have, I think they do a great job. And, you know, depending on how you want to slice these numbers, we're understaffed, we're overstaffed. I don't personally think, my staff's going to hate me for this, but I couldn't see 14 custodians running around campus at night because I think they'd be bored because, I mean, you only can clean something so much before it's not getting any better. But if you ask me, do you think 6 is enough? No, I don't. But what we do, again, I applaud them for what they do. Hopefully this information is helpful.
It is helpful, because as we start deficit spending, I remember a time when we had one daytime custodian in our elementary schools, and we had no nighttime custodians, because we got rid of everyone, and
We had no nighttime activities as well, the buildings were
right,
closed.
and so I
It
want
was
to make sure that we
dire.
stay cognizant of what we're doing, who's on staff, and how clean we want our buildings to be as a standard for the district, so that when we have to start thinking about reductions or whatever, if that's where it's gonna head to, that we keep that in mind. Yeah.
This is incredibly helpful. Thank you for the context and for all the time it took to calculate all this. Question for you, and I'm sure you and the administration find a unique way to do this on your own, but as a board, how can we help in recognizing your team?
Say thank you. I mean, really, thank you goes a very long way in acknowledging that what they do. And again, we are not a standalone portion of this district. We are only one part of the whole. You have your teachers, you have your staff, you have your administration. They're just one part doing their job, but thank you goes a long way. It really does.
That's an easy ask for sure, but what about something a little bigger, like a board meeting recognition or something where we can recognize at least the leadership team? I doubt you can get everybody in one
Rich
room.
loves
Rich-
that.
so Rich-
He really likes that.
Rich
kind
will
of stuff.
present, usually in August, to the board as we get ready to roll in the school about all the summer work that happens. He will at times encourage his staff to attend, and they will attend and
How
listen.
about a little something more formal, like an
and sing his
invitation from us
praises. And we
to
can
attend?
absolutely invite them to that as well. We've done a little with the summer workers, the summer worker program to even allow teachers to come to work. I think this year it's gonna be more cleaning and not necessarily special projects, but it takes a lot, not only to clean every day, but then to turn the building over in summertime, and really deep scrub and all that. So I think that's a typical time. We can do it at a different time. We have usually saved August, for Rich and his staff, because that's really when everyone else is, you know, kind of on summer break, that's their go-to time, and those buildings are hot.
It would be really nice sometime to have it during maybe a PD day when everybody is here, and have the board be able to have.
Would you like to come on the 2nd? We are in the March 2nd in the afternoon. Everyone will be in the auditorium, the entire staff, and we will be thanking them for another great year.
You know, I mean, I
Sure.
just think it's
But
important.
it would only be the custodial staff that's working, and they're, I'm assuming, what do they do on the PD day?
So they come in for 2 PD days a year,
Okay,
and they are contracted for 2. And this second one, we will have all staff. So they come in on the first day. Correct me if I'm speaking. I think we bring them in on the very first day of the year for the basically the invocation to kind of kick off the year, and then we'll bring them in for this year, the last day of the year, and we do a kind of a celebration at the end.
okay.
So they will be doing PD, but at the end, every staff member comes into, starting in the auditorium, to which we kind of give them a thank you for their year and do some things to celebrate those who we know of who are retiring. We don't get everybody, but we know those who we have their retirements, and then we kick them off for some sort of celebration and small token.
Well, and
Yeah.
we have a lot of hidden departments, is what I like to call them.
Yeah.
You know, the people that are doing all this work that people don't see all the time. You know, our transportation operators, our maintenance staff, our
Playground assistants.
custodial staff, our food
Technology.
service people, our technology folks, and we never get a chance. And if something like that could be videotaped and we could play it, I mean, it's just something nice to do, to say that we recognize what they do and to inform the district that it's not just the teachers and the administrators that people see every day. It's so much more that goes into what we do here, so.
And coming to a PD day would be great. I would, of course, want to make sure the whole board could attend, something like that, but something that we can single out this group in particular. Not that I'm opposed to thanking everybody, of course, but something where we can make them feel
Sure.
that it's a unique celebration of their work.
Sure.
And if August is the right time, then so be it. But we can leave that to you to send that kind of formal/informal invitation to them to come to that. Okay.
But again, I will always sing the praises of my staff. I'm selfish like that, but again,
It's quite the opposite.
we are one part of the whole.
Rich also has an annual tradition on his own where he brings his staff in over the election day and fries turkeys for them and everything. It's a really neat thing that he does personally for his staff. Sometimes we're fortunate enough to crash, but he takes care of it as long over at the house to really kind of take care of them and say thank you. So definitely, they love him and they work hard for him.
And a sidebar, just because we all know how much Rich likes to have the limelight shined on him. I offered to, I've heard he feeds his staff, so I said, when we do our budgeting, let's put together a fund so that you can cover those costs and a way to generate that revenue. And he absolutely refused and vehemently and said, no, that's what he pays for out of his own pocket. So those are little things. That's why your staff busts their butt, because of how you lead them. People's performance is a direct reflection of their leadership. So
Really nice job.
Thanks.
it's true.
All right, the last item we missed, I did email you this morning, Dan. It's just Buckeye. I want to give an update on the Buckeye project. We had a great meeting with Ryan and Roger and even Cleveland Construction to look at some renderings of Buckeye. They came back with a lot of different looks at it. When we really sat down and talked about what are we going to do and what is the most cost efficient in that space and all that, this concept here is the one that just completely rose to the top. It doesn't mean we're going to tweak it, but there was no, it was 1 and then 4. There were like the other ones in the middle we had looked at adding on to the 84 edition.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, here, Steve, I got a copy.
Oh, you do? Yeah. I didn't think I was allowed.
You emailed this, right?
I did. I did. I shared this with the entire board, but I wanted to just have some. So the preliminary discussions in looking at, since we are committing to doing the whole building, really looks at taking the current rooms that we use for kindergarten instruction and renovating them to look like kindergarten rooms.
Okay, so that
is.
when I first looked at this, I thought we were squeezing 4 new buildings in
No.
between the existing.
The mauve, if you would, I believe that's that color, or buff color, is a renovation of those kindergarten rooms. There are sinks there, there's plumbing there, so it's looking at putting bathrooms in those spaces for those students. That allows us to build
This is
a
the front end.
12-story or 12 classroom addition in a gym in a smaller footprint and stack one on top of each other. The rendering on the front is just a rendering of the side of the building and what that side might look like.
This would be our back to the dumpster.
Yes,
Right?
yes. That is just their rendering. I thought it looked really kind of neat and the people looked happy leaving. So,
Chris,
just show that.
just orienting myself, the new classrooms, the gym at one rendering had it on the other side. but
Right.
It's flipping back over to this side.
Yes, and one
Okay.
rendering. In speaking with everyone in terms of a construction standpoint and a cost efficiency standpoint, this one here gives us the most bang for our buck. The other thing that we had talked about in looking through some of this is, can we really look at playing with this even design to make this building even mimic Parkside and Riverview a little bit more, where we put all the specials in the new addition, convert the current library and spaces into classrooms, and have your music, all of your specials in one kind of side of the wing. Ryan is going to come back with some of those. We gave him those as his kind of marching orders to move forward, but really look at the 2-story addition versus the 1 classroom versus 2 1-story additions. So he's going to take that back and look, maybe he can shift the mechanical room as well as the stairwell to kind of separate the loud spaces from the quiet spaces, if you would.
And the retention ponds I assume on this side down here, the lower part?
It's on the north end.
Okay.
Yeah, the thought of even the retention pond could be at the end of the parking lot where the snow can melt into it. So you can
Beyond
pile
the
up
gym.
snow, and, yes, behind the gym.
So you're the originally where it was, then behind the gym?
Correct.
That's where it's
Yeah.
always been, right?
No, so in the original concept, it was much larger than needed and stuck back in the woods, which is incredibly expensive.
So it's not
So
that now?
moving it up and putting it, and so they're looking at where they're going to put that, but the thought, one of the concepts, the thought is to put some gravel like we have at the new addition of Riverview to stage
Just
the
flow
snow,
down?
and then it can slope
Well,
right
that's-
down
that'd
into
be
the
great.
retention pond.
Is this
And the
just,
baseball field's still good,
The
right?
baseball field is still there, and the playground space would still be
Great.
a little bit larger.
is this just like a cinder block area for,
That's actually a
back there?
fenced-in area for the chiller.
Okay, I figured so.
So it does make the entrance way to, he did take some space out of the corridor as well. He shrunk the general footprint down to maintain as much green space as we can on the
It's gonna be
area.
really narrow over there on the parking lot side, right? Like,
It'll be the same width that's there, they'll build into it, but it's gonna actually give you more of the original green space by not building on both sides.
But they all might, are we still entertaining parking in the front, the south end of the school?
We are looking at that as well, kind of how we could redo that parking lot. The question with that becomes, honestly, where does the drainage go and what do we do with the runoff of the water? So they're coming up with different options. That was the second marching orders. What do we do with the front parking? To improve that, do we use a swale system and kind of do some education with, hey, these are the swales and this is why they're there? Do we look at, Rich doesn't like this word, but pavers, some of those permeable pavers and what that looks like, and the cost to that. So cost benefit analysis of what it would be to put that in. Because if you put too much asphalt in and just, at that point, then your retention pond gets too big.
You don't like the drainable asphalty stuff?
The pervious pavers?
Yeah.
There's a lot of work with that.
There's a
There's
constant
those at the
maintenance in it.
mall.
Yes, sir. You actually have to vacuum out the grout lines of every single brick every single year and replant the silica that's in there. And then when you plow it, you can't use a steel blade, you have to use a poly blade. So there's an expense to it.
So, like we said, we're looking cost benefit analysis.
If we lived in a warm climate, maybe.
It won't get
Exactly.
It's still
Yes.
ice freezing,
Yes.
salt. and-
Yes.
So looking at the second floor of Concept A as well, we're only gonna have one, we think we're only gonna need the mechanical room on one floor, so the other room will be utilized for a small group space. That we think that'll add another, needed feature to that. Ryan's
I'm
gonna
sorry,
come,
so you're saying there will be a second floor above the mechanical room?
so the mechanical room will most likely be on the second floor, and the first floor will have a small group space.
Like it is at the Riverside, Riverview
Yes.
Edition?
Like it is in Riverview.
Is this 12 total
This is
classrooms?
12 total classrooms and a gym. And a complete, and Roger does believe that within this setting, this is our most efficient way, we'll be able to do the most into the regular school. Ryan is coming back with some other drawings, with some of our tweaking, and says, hey, what if we convert some of these spaces to look a little bit different for your like music room and art room, not necessarily the classroom size, but kind of shifting where these are in the space. We're not going to add square footage, but we'll get more information on that and coming back, and then we'll hopefully have some final, maybe a couple options with this, or if we move our music classrooms over, reinvent the current library space in the classrooms and what that looks like
They don't have cost data yet.
as well. They are working hard to get cost data.
Okay, so, because we have a board meeting on Thursday, and I thought we were gonna put
So that's the second part of this.
bond
Yes.
sale, like, at least the bond information, but we can't really do that unless we know
So-
we can afford it.
We, so everything we have talked about is that the affordability will be under the 15 million that we are going to borrow. So that is where Roger and they are all working. They know that is the max amount. The recommended agenda item for Thursday is to approve with the COP sale for, it's actually, Mike Priscilla is recommending $15,250,000. Not a request to increase the financing, but a precaution in event of structuring the issue with potential discount. This is Priscilla's language, obviously, because I don't speak this. It's not an increase in the financing, yet a precaution in the event of structure the issue with potential discount maturities may require an increase in par amount to achieve a $15 million project amount.
You just have to give people a bonus for buying your stuff.
So if we had
That's
to.
basically what he's saying.
Yes, both Mike and the, believe that the 15 million cops is more attractive to investors than a 10 million cops and
Right.
5 million tans, and that we won't even have to get there, but he is being prudent, on this case. So,
And we don't have all the limitations of a TANs. which
But
is
we
a lot
don't,
more
but
limitations.
we are not selling anything until we have a price.
we would not
because-
sell anything until we have a price. This is to get things ready and to get it to go, but once we have that price.
Right, I just want to make sure that what we're approving on Thursday doesn't precipitate them actually going out for sale until we have a price, because we can't guarantee
That
that
is-
we can afford it if we
Yes.
don't have a price.
Well,
yet.
I would say this, if it comes back and it was something unforeseen and it ends up being $16 million to do what you're looking at, then we're not gonna do what you're looking at.
Yeah, you
They're
have
gonna
to
have to go back to
value
the table
Value
and
it.
figure out how to put
Right,
$1
I just
million.
wanna make sure-
Every, the people who we have hired to be the experts in this
Yes.
area have said this is a doable project with the renovation of the school for 15 million.
And I want to make sure that it
Dollars.
includes the contingencies that could arise.
It is building in
There's a
contingencies as well.
5% contingency.
Does he have something similar to this for the existing park?
This is with, the 15 mil is inclusive of the
No, I'm sorry.
existing part.
I mean, like, not necessarily a rendering, but maybe more a detailed list of the,
They are working on putting that together, and the marching orders will come back with a GMP that's going to inclusive of the new construction and the renovation of the building, so we know exactly what we're getting. We're not just saying, we're gonna work with what we have left over. So our expectations are windows, roof, floors, lights,
air
continue-
conditioning.
Yes. Oh, HVAC throughout the entire building, to
But
bring
not
it
new
up
plumbing
to that standard.
and, right?
Well, new water line in.
Will we have new infrastructure to eliminate that kind of,
So the new HVAC will
No.
replace that, but in
Right.
terms of some of the piping,
it's still going to be original.
You'll be tying into some of those older.
Well, it all
systems.
depends too how we go. It depends on what type of heating and cooling system they come back with in their design.
there's also there's also a possibility that any of the new water lines for the new side could be independently run to the street connect, right? It doesn't have to necessarily come tying off from Buckeye's old piping. It could have its own meter and its own,
It could,
Turn on.
but we're still, because of the repair we've already made and we know the condition of it, we are going to replace
the main is gonna be
Main is
replaced.
coming.
okay.
As a part. They're also looking at redoing the current space to modernize if you look at the gym cafeteria combination, that'll be a solely a cafeteria, but they're gonna redo the floor, the ceiling, to modernize that, to make it look new.
And can we get, I'm sure you guys have already thought of this, but, there were questions about, we're adding 12 classrooms, we're adding more buses, we're adding more cars, et cetera, and I know there was conversation about how that was gonna get routed.
Ryan
I'm
is
sure
working
people are
through that
gonna,
routing space as well. We're getting numbers as to what it looks like with
that'll be questions.
with an ease of redistricting. I mean, obviously, this also comes with redistricting. We've said that that's a part of it as well in the plan. With that, what that looks like in terms of space, Ryan's got some estimates that he's gonna run through so we can make sure that the one driveway is long enough so that the bus drop-off looks the same. So he's doing that. His team, that's Sybil, I believe.
And is there any possibility that our nutrition services and Latchkey can chip in a portion to cover some of their
So,
costs?
Nutrition is looking at, yes. So Latchkey, no, but they kind of,
I mean,
I don't.
there's ways,
Yeah.
I mean,
But
They have their own coffer, right, for, in
Are they
regards to the
doing
kitchen?
craft?
Yeah, yes. Nutrition is looking at
oh.
adding different oven to the kitchen, adding some new stuff, and a serving line. So as part of the process, that funds would come from her coffers. So the new ovens,
The
renovation.
equipment and the,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, equipment and kind of what she can fund through federal guidelines.
right, we're
Um,
gonna consider doing it.
Yes, we will try to do through there. We would look at the cost. Again, you have to do an analysis because nutrition, anytime you use nutrition, it's federal funds, so it has to be prevailing wage versus this is not a prevailing wage job.
Yeah.
When
And
are they
yes, Lat-
projecting finish occupancy?
So occupancy would be not this opening school year, but the next school year.
So
that's-
Mill Ridge is definitely open for next school
The
year.
mill years will need to be online for
Okay,
at least
got
one
it.
more year. And we can really start to look at that process as well.
And the renovation more than likely is going to be split in half.
2 summers.
That's the goal.
This summer?
This summer, how much we do, it all depends when the renderings come back and what the engineering and everything talks about. But more than likely, the west end of the school, which lines up with the addition, would be done first. That just makes sense.
Okay.
And then we'll see how
And
much
that
we get into.
construction can go on while we're in school?
The outside,
Yes,
Outside,
yeah,
yes.
the
The
addition
new, the
can.
new classrooms can be
Yes.
constructed while we're attending.
Yes.
And the footprint of itself is actually going to be smaller than the original footprint.
Yeah.
So it is
Because
actually,
you stacked
yes,
up.
we're stacking up, so it's gonna be a smaller footprint on the green space as well.
If Melridge goes offline and Buckeyes at third elementary school, is fifth grade still at Lamouth at all, or is it all?
Fifth grade is
people?
still at Lamouth in this configuration. As we look at redistricting, we will try to move to get to a standardized for fifth grade, but that also comes from the revamping of the facilities plan and really taking a hard look at what this community wants in terms of the new facilities, and that's the next, we're kicking that off as well, that work, and I would
And what the-
encourage that to be a part
What
of
the
it.
timeline is for all that and
The
how long
strategic-
that's gonna look like that, I think people need to understand
We
that.
do. We need to, I think the first thing is we need to get Buckeye solid and in the ground and starting on that process, and then we look at, okay, here's our 3 anchor buildings that we have. We'll count Lamouth as this is still the building that we know is still, although we continue to talk age is getting older, but Lamouth is still a good building. What do we do with this? What is the desire of the community with both the campus and John R.? What's our plan moving forward? What's our recommendation? What are costs? All of that, because that can't be done without new money.
Right, we're tapped
Yeah,
out with money.
And that's where we're at. So we've got 3 elementaries. We're bringing back something back to the third of the community who's been paying for the other ones that haven't had some of the benefits. So we are bringing that back. And then what do we do from a programming perspective across the district? So I think that's the next step playing forward. That ties in nicely with not only the strategic plan work, because I think it's going to be a big pillar of that, but where are we going from there?
Yeah, we got a lot of work to do.
So that will be the buildings and grounds. We will have the COPS resolution on this agenda for buildings and grounds. We do have a call with Moody's tomorrow, just to kind of review our ratings as we go with this. So we're not going to Chicago anymore. They all do it via Zoom.
Yeah,
But
and I don't anticipate that changing.
no, I don't think so either. All right.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
All right, we're done.
John?